A touchstone, our next touchstone is what we do to get ready, is our pregame preparation in drills. And we were just, the last touchstone, we were talking about the timing touchstones, and these are the drills that we would use, and of course it's another touchstone. Now, the touchstones are things that we rehearse. They're the do's, they're the action steps that we take. Some are abstract. Some are, like gotta wait back. Well, really, that's another way of saying you gotta do a better job at timing the pitch. Waiting back is timing the pitch. Swinging down has to do with your posture. Getting in good position, I'm gonna kick your ass. So, of course, things can be abstract and things can be concrete. So you can have real concrete touchstones, or you can have abstract touchstones, which are, have to do with getting perspective, but you have to have perspective. And the idea is that, at the top of the pyramid, you have awareness. You figure out what all your variables are. You figure out what screws you up. What are the system failures that happen? And you become more aware, and you realize that there are actions that you take, and there's things that you learn. And this is why I want to focus on this, because, look, as coaches, I teach you guys about the five phases of hitting, about the plan. Yet what I want you to do, I want you to present it to the players. And like I showed you the ride and stride with the timing, I made it into a touchstone. Why? Because players are going to want to get to it. As coaches, you're going to want to get to it. You don't want to feel like there's so much you got to do. So you have to start somewhere. And another one of the touchstones later on is going to be about where do you start? What is the bare minimum that you want to get your guys to do? Like number one, you got to walk the line. Got to get sideways. Walking the line is, would be probably number one, because it's going to fix sideways back foot. It's going to fix head position. It's going to fix sideways approach, you're keeping your hips closed. It's going to affect you letting the ball travel. It's going to affect your perspective, seeing the zone, and so on and so forth. So in this snap drill, this is a pregame, what you do in your pregame, and it's single snap and a double snap. And I wanted to bring these up. You guys know what these are, but the single snap, it deals with synchronizing the pitcher. And the double snap has to do with synchronizing the pitch, okay? So it's important to get these separate. The reason why is because once you introduce the single snap, you introduce the single snap, and then that lean is on them. They tend to do that on their own. They'll see the ball and lean. If they're not over that thing of staying back, whatever, where they don't even go forward. But if they are over that, if you kind of broke free of that, which is why everybody should be walking the line for you. But once you do that, then all of a sudden, you're going to have guys, trying to snap, and the guy's in the middle of the windup because he's trying to go snap, snap, or snap, swing. He's trying to get his swing in, trying to feel that frequency with the double snap. And then what I see more often than not is I see players literally, and coaches, looking at the pitcher, and he's halfway in his windup, and he's going like he's completely forgot why or when the first snap drill happens. Or in a double snap, the double snap, the first snap of the double snap should be what the single snap is doing. But they completely lose it because they didn't fully learn the single snap. So it's important to learn this first, okay? And ultimately, you won't have to really worry about the double snap other than trying to get your frequency to get your beat. Okay, so let's go over these. So the first thing with the single snap, I would have everybody on the team, one way or another. They don't have to show anybody or let anybody know, but they have to be cognizant of it. And I would quiz them. I would test them. I would, randomly say, hey, show me you can snap on time. They're taking infield. The other club is taking infield, all right? So I want you to call out the position and snap it release. All right, so it's ground ball to left field. Say left field. Crow hop, catcher. you know? So, you know, the guy, you know, goes into crow hop and throws it down to third from home. Or, you know, call it out and snap. So you can look as a coach and go, okay, he's got it, you know? But, you know, because some players are going to give you the eye wash, say, oh, yeah, I've done it. Because they're not going to buy off on it completely because they're still going to be trusting you. That, okay, well, I can do it. I've done it once. I know how to do it. But it's not about that. It's not about doing it once or showing yourself that you can do it. It's about being able to do it under pressure. Why do you think a Don Mattingly would do the sideways walk or walk the line 20 minutes a day every day of his career? Why do you do that? It's rehearsal. Dude, you got to rehearse every day. So if there's a snap drill, you know, guy goes and wind up. I mean, you should be able to, you're not even looking at a pitcher at all. You're not even looking at the guy throw at all. You should be able to turn around and show a guy, okay, right away, guys, and you don't even know the guy's wind up, but you just watch him go through his wind up and be able to just go right into a right and stride from that and show the guy. So as coaches, you need to be able to do it. So don't slack off as a coach. You guys need to be able to do it. So the first thing, number one, is coping with the pitcher, with the delivery of the pitcher, right? Number two, it's about the win. It's about the win of release. You want to see the ball out of the guy's hand, all right? Number three is picking up the ball out of the hand. Okay, if you want to synchronize the win, then you're going to have to pick the ball up out of the guy's hand. If you're going to pick the ball up out of the guy's hand, you can't look for where. If you look for where, you can still be surprised. And we've explained that. If you knew someone was going to come up to you and go, and they're right in front of you, you know, and you knew they were going to do it at any moment. And here it comes, it's coming around, and he's saying, okay, I'm about to scare you. He can still startle you, you know. You know, it's like playing that game where you have your hands under like this and you play that game, you know. You know it's happening, but you can still get startled, right? Okay, so you have to practice it. It's about the when, not the where. If I know the when, then I got the where locked in, okay? Because I'll just watch it happen. Because look, the proof is this. You've been doing it since you were a kid. So ever since you've been playing catch, that's how you do it. You work with when. Your whole life you've worked with when. So why all of a sudden when you're hitting, are you going to change the way you do things and do things something unnatural and look for where? You don't do that when you play catch. You don't look for where when you play catch. You feel when. It's almost like hitting soft toss where you don't even know you're making adjustments. You don't even know that you're managing 8 or 9 variables without even knowing it automatically. Same with playing catch, all right? So the single snap, I would quiz guys with this. You have to do it, but you as a coach have to be able to just flip around and look at anybody throwing and watch him in his windup and go here, boom, and lean to the speed, all right? With the double snap, all right? First, the double snap is all about the beat, all right? So, of course, you got the first one. So, the first one, you're coping with the pitcher. Second one, now you're hitting. All right, now you're hitting. So now you're thinking about, okay, release, contact. Release, contact. That's the frequency. I'm standing here, release, contact. Right? If I don't snap, it's just snap it, release. When I go, that's snap. Release. So it's, you know, you can double snap. And once again, you'll see guys doing a double snap and it doesn't even sync up with the pitcher's release. And you're like, dude, you're working on snapping twice and swinging. You're literally only thinking about snapping, making a movement, swinging with your arm, snapping again, and that's way too much for you, okay? That's what happens when you don't do it. As coaches, you need to do it all the time so that your first snap is always at release, and your second snap, I mean, so let's say, you know, you go here, and then all of a sudden the ball's on you. You know, so, you know, you're not going to go and go, oh, I'm late. You should be able to go really quick. You know, so you're watching him, you know, and just show him what it's like. You look at a Barry Bonds, that's something he had the ability to, He didn't have to necessarily do a complete fall and get the beat as much. He would literally, he would do, he'd see release and he'd be getting, of course he'd be going forward, and then he'd the ball would come right in there and he'd give it a push, right on time. And I don't know if that's what he thought, but man, he could lean on time, fall on time, and he could let the ball get on him and push off and be on time. All right, so he wasn't catching up. All right, so the double snap is the beat between release and contact. You got to raise or lower your intensity. To be a good hitter, you'll find players and you'll watch them and you take them in the batting cage. This is something I love doing. Going in the slowest batting cage, the slowest ball that can come out of the cage and get all the way to get all the way from the machine all the way to the home plate. I love hitting in those machines. And you get players in there and they literally cannot hit in there because they're freaked out. They're absolutely freaked out. They cannot sit there and think, how do I do this? Where it's literally, it's thump. They can't do it. Yet they could do it in slow pitch softball. Same thing. Pitched. And then they can hit. Same thing. They're just freaked out. They're freaked out by it being so slow. So we have a drill. So you have to be able to raise or lower your intensity. Number 3, you got to rehearse contact. Of course, you're always rehearsing contact because you got to get a distance and then you freeze frame. Now the freeze framing part of the drill is something that we do, see it deep, hit it deep, which is something that I'm going to be showing you guys later. But when you freeze frame, that's seeing the ball coming out. Let's call that a thump, all right? A thump right out of the machine. Thump, and then freeze frame it right on the side of you or wherever you want to hit it. So it goes thump, 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 or not double thump. Thump, and then freeze frame, all right? So what you do is even though the ball has passed you, in your mind's eye, it's still sitting there. You've got to freeze it. You're freezing it. So what happens is that you have to feel the beat between release and the freezing, and you start getting a sense of how long it took if you freeze frame it. Because as soon as you freeze frame it, at that point you could feel the beat between when it went thump and you freeze framed it. Okay, but that's why. Have you ever tried this? Have you ever tried watching the ball go by you and watch it into the glove? I could never do that. I mean, I did it, but every time I do it, I think, I don't even know how I hit that thing. It just looks, it speeds the ball up. It speeds it up. I think that going like this, seeing the ball and going like that is 100% eye wash. Absolute eye wash. Why is it? Because you're not getting timing. You're not getting any timing because you're not thinking about where you'd want to hit it. So you didn't feel the beat between A and B. You're just going, A, and then in the glove is B. So you're going A and B. It just feels like it's coming, 120 miles an hour. I just always felt like whenever I watched the ball into the glove. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't, listen, you're zoning and you got the timing, you've done all your rehearsals and you're in the game and you see it and it's outside pitch and you follow it and then you look at the catcher. Okay. I'm not talking about following the ball. I'm talking about following the ball when you're hitting, following the ball and then, wanting to hit and then you're aggressive and you pull up and then you look back at where it was. Okay, that's fine. But by wanting to hit, you freeze framed it where you wanted to hit it, okay? So that's critically important. Speed is irrelevant. Speed is not relevant. I remember always, asking the guy up in the stands behind a home plate, hey, how hard is he throwing? 89, 91, whatever. It's total psychological. 89, I felt like, okay, I'm okay. That's really easy. I'm going to kill this guy. 91, oh, that's a good speed, actually. 93, okay, that's starting to get up there. That's a little above the hitting speed, all right? 89 is right at just above the hitting speed, but 88's about just at the hitting speed, and anything below that is just below the hitting speed. So But I just remember up there, looking for the, looking for the guy holding the radar gun. Well, that's kind of ridiculous. The speed is irrelevant. It's the beat between A and B. So if he's throwing 95 and you know it's 95 and I've seen guys in the on deck circle and they know better, but they're completely distracted by something else that they're trying to accomplish. For example, they're trying to accomplish maybe being smoother or riding the back leg, or if they're that advanced, or just something. And I see guys on deck and they're watching the pitcher, and guys on 95 and they're going, okay, release, and they're going real slow like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the ball would be in the glove before they even got their foot down, right? I'm sorry, guys on 95, it's release, boom, it's aggressive, all right? Boom, So you got to get to the frequency, you got to get to the beat. Once you have the beat, the speeds are irrelevant, it's the beat. So it's the intensity that you got to change from A to B, all right? Okay, that's about it right there. I mean, you should just be able to go over these two drills and understand them and do them yourself.